type out your messages on your chat. Feel free to type out, but bring in some warmth, because we've got people from two sides of the border. We would love to work together. So those are the ground rules here. And through the session, keep having your questions for the panelists, for the core team of the Finland Startup Hub on chat. And, we would love to take these questions. So on that note, I would love to invite the core team of the India-Finland Startup Hub that's been behind the entire work of today's session as well as the hub. As I'm going to be inviting the core team, please turn your videos on, the core team, and I would love to introduce all of you, because people should know who are the ninjas behind today's session. So I would love to first invite Puneet Thakur from Business Finland. Puneet, a quick hi to everyone.
Hi everyone, so I am Puneet Thakur. I had the Invest in an Innovation Collaboration function at Business Finland, and very happy to be part of this hub.
Thank you so much, Puneet. And the next one is going to be, I would say, my partner in crime from Business Finland, Santeri. Santeri, can you turn your video on and say a quick hi to everyone, please?
Hello, hi everyone. So I'm Santeri. I'm living in India, New Delhi, working for Finland. We have been building this hub with Gautam, Amit, the team, everybody here, and so nice to see so many people over here. And my job is to work with startups and get people connected with each other. So let's make each other familiar with ourselves and you guys, and let's have a wonderful session. Thank you.
Absolutely. And the third person who's played a big role in this, I would love to invite Annamari. Annamari, thank you so much for playing a very important role in curating this entire session as well as the hub.
Hi everyone, really nice to be here and be creating the hub together. I'm sitting in Finland. It's snowing actually at this moment. But I will be speaking more in the next session in 1 month if you are joining then. And my responsibility in Finland is especially the startup residence permit, and I will tell more about that then later.
Thank you so much, Annamari. So the final two people who've been very, very instrumental in curating this and putting this together, I would love to invite Anurag Jaiswal, my partner in crime, who leads Headstart in Finland. Anurag, can you quickly come on video and say a hi to everyone here, please? People would love to see you.
Yes. Hello, hi everyone. I'm not allowed to turn on my video, so
we are going to make you co-host, and you're going to turn your videos on. But yes, you can say hi to everyone, please.
Hello, hi everyone. So this is Anurag here from Headstart Helsinki, and I've been now trying to help our colleagues now in India and at Headstart India to set up our feet here in Finland, and really excited about this very important chapter that we are now launching in the relationship between India and Finland. So very excited and looking forward to take this forward.
Thank you so much, Anurag. And the final, I mean, it's never last but not least, right? You've got the most important ninja of today, Arzu, my colleague from Headstart, Arzu, who's been doing all the running around and ensuring that the hub's in place and the sessions a success today. So Arzu, can you turn your video on and say hi to everyone, please?
Hello everyone, I'm Arzu. I'm the community manager at Headstart, and it's been an absolute pleasure to collaborate with Business Finland and to set this hub for you guys. I hope you find it very helpful. Yeah, please enjoy the session.
Thank you so much. So on this note, you've got to see the team that's been behind the hub at both Headstart as well as Business Finland. So I think now it's very important to move to the next item on the agenda. I would love to invite Amit Singh, the co-founder and CEO of Headstart Network. Amit, can you come on video and say hi to everyone, please?
Hi guys, Amit here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Amit, it's a very important day in the in the India-Finland startup relations. So I think that's where two very important people that I wanted to have on board were you and Jukka Holappa from Business Finland. And I think I would love to have you start, Amit, in sharing your perspectives, because you've been someone who's been anchoring the Indian startup ecosystem for close to about 15 years, working closely with 1,000+ startups. And you've also been to Finland, to work closely with the Finland startup ecosystem. Would love to hear from you, and if you can take it forward from here.
Thanks a bunch, Gautam. Hello, everyone. Very warm welcome to everybody who's joined us from Finland, and for everybody who's joined us from India. Thanks for taking time out on this Saturday to explore what's there in store for startups in India, startups in Finland, in the respective geographies. Majority of you probably already know Headstart, so I would not bore you with a corporate presentation. But for those of you who don't have a background into Headstart just yet, we are one of India's oldest and largest startup communities, building India's startup ecosystem grounds up since 2007. So many of the who's who of Indian startup diaspora have joined us in our mission towards empowering, building a startup culture in India at the grassroots. Several Indian unicorns now have made their first or early stage demos in our events. So we are spread across the country over 30 different cities and have 2 chapters outside of India as well, one in Berlin and the other in Helsinki. In December 2019, I had the opportunity of visiting Finland as a part of an Indian delegation, and I was completely floored by their hospitality and the richness of the startup culture over there. And soon after, we launched our first international chapter in Helsinki with Anurag heading the efforts over there. And I would really love for Juha to talk about various opportunities that are there, but let me just give a small glimpse of India to the people from Finland and of Finland to the people from India. So if you could get my slides, please. Thank you. So everybody in India, when you think of when the word Finland comes to your mind, probably the first thing that comes is Nokia. It's the land of Nokia. All of us at some point in time or the other have had a Nokia phone, except the Gen Z who started with a smartphone in their hands. You probably know Finland for being the happiest country in the world, very happy people, or the richness of their education system. What you might not know is that Finland is also the home of Angry Birds and Clash of Clans. The MPs, the members of the parliament, even the prime minister sometimes cycles to work when they go to when they're in Finland. It's the land of saunas. If you go there, you ought to take one. It's also the homeland of Slush. And the University of Helsinki is where Linus Torvalds built the foundation of what would go ahead and become Linux. And that definitely has shaped the world in a powerful way. But more importantly, there's a fantastic research and collaboration environment between different members of the Finnish ecosystem that creates a very rich hub for research and highly qualified talent for Indian startups when you go there too. There are several startups, over 4,000 of them in Finland, a bunch of unicorns, over 250 different accelerators, incubators, and all of this is accomplished in a very small population of less than 6 million people. So for context, that's like half of Bangalore, guys. So incredible amounts of innovation and extremely collaborative environment, design first thinking that is something that you can totally expect, when you work at Finland with Finland companies on anything. Now, coming over for a quick introduction to India for the people who've joined us from Finland. Now, the first thing probably that comes to your mind when we're talking about India is the Taj Mahal. Or a country with fantastic and very rich cultural diversity. Or maybe you might think of, techies who are Indian and, at great positions internationally, be it Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of Microsoft, or Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Alphabet. Chances are you've heard of Infosys, which is one of India's largest IT services companies and a big success story and a big name abroad. In India, we're a very populous country, and when members of parliament are going to their place of work, there's usually a 1 kilometer long queue. India is also seen by many as a land of mystics, and what you might not know is that India is also the land of R&D centers. So, world's top technology companies, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, not Apple, but they have their largest office outside of their home city in India. And within India, it's not in Bangalore, which is known as the Silicon Valley of India. It's actually in the city of Hyderabad. So there's an incredibly large talent base in India that Finnish startups can tap into. And there's incredible research happening homegrown here in India too. India is home to over 50,000 different startups, so over 50 unicorns right now. It's not an absolute number because we really don't know. Just last week, there have been 5 new startups that have entered the unicorn club in India. Now it's home to several incubators and has the largest IT workforce in the planet. So there definitely is a lot that you can do in terms of technology, exploring India as a destination where you partner with maybe Indian startups, or you set up your companies in India. And you could literally, like everybody in Finland usually builds for the world, and India has got a huge purchasing power with its rapidly growing middle class and pretty big population of over 1.3 billion people. So that's a little about both the countries, both the ecosystems. And without further ado, I would like to call upon my dear friend, Jukka Holappa. He's the Commercial Counselor and Country Director for India for Business Finland, to walk you through what Finland has in store for India specifically. Hi there, Jukka.
Thank you, Amit, so much. And thank you, Team Headstart. Amazing work you have done already. And of course, thanks to our team, Team Finland, thanks to Business Finland team. So my name is Jukka Holappa and I'm heading Business Finland here in India. I'm actually quite excited. I'm hardly ever excited nowadays. I think I have even changed my shirt 3 times today already because I'm so nervous, which is nice to be nervous. Today I will talk about why, and during our next sessions, which are coming in 1 and 2 months, we will talk more about how and what. And I plan to tell you quite many secrets during my speech today as well. But let me try to share my screen. Could somebody let me know when you are seeing this icy cold
Yes,
picture?
we can see.
Cool. Okay, so I will talk about why, but starting with Business Finland, we are a very, very unique governmental organization. We have 5 mandates from the Finnish government. So we are not typical trade and investment council or agency for Finland, because besides export promotion and invest in activities, we are also the funding agency for innovation for Finland. Our typical annual funding budget is about 600 million euros. That we inject to the Finnish innovation ecosystem, mostly to companies as grants or loans, so we don't take any equity. Last couple of years has been special due to COVID, so actually last year we got extra 1.1 billion euros from the Finnish government. So last year our funding towards companies was 1.7 billion euros as grants or loans. To us, it doesn't matter who owns the company, we can fund the Finnish legal entity. It can be fully owned by Indian company or wherever. Then we also work on tourism. Visit Finland is our tourism board, which we are running. I think somebody asked about tourism as well. And then our latest mandate is talent boost, which means that it's our small role to attract talent to Finland as well. And that's, I think, what we are doing here as well, because attracting best possible startup teams is part of talent boost work as well. And it is actually this combination what makes us very unique compared to other trade and investment promotion agencies. We really know the Finnish ecosystem because we drive it. We funded every single successful Finnish startup, or Rovio with Angry Birds, or Supercell with Clash of Clans. We have funded them. Our services are also free of cost, but we know the ecosystem because we are doing so many things and we are evaluating the Finnish companies. There are so many number ones. I think Amit mentioned these. These are just few number ones which have been stated by independent organizations, World Economic Forum, UN, Global Innovation Index. So the best business environment in the world, best education system in the world, the best university industry research collaboration, happiest country in the world, most stable country in the world, the best destination in EU for international business expansion, and the best in the world in innovation. So many number ones, but this is somewhat boring stuff. It's not only Nokia and telecommunications and digitalization. So bio and circular economy, healthcare, we are working a lot, travel and tourism, clean tech, clean energy, very big part of what our SMEs are doing, and even consumer business. But few words about digitalization. So in Europe, Finland is leading the way. In all the measures, Finland is the European leader in digitalization. Even our corporations are actually, for example, global leaders when it comes to cloud adoption. So Finland is the most digital country in Europe. By all the measures, most likely the most digital country in the world. But I want to talk about, since I've been in this role in India for 4.5 years, so I have seen what really interests Indian companies in Finland, what the Indians see, where we have something unique to offer. And first is really 5G. Couple of announcements there. So both Wipro and Tech Mahindra have disclosed that they are setting up 5G R&D sites to Finland. So that really is one of our strongholds, 5G. Not only 5G, we are heavily investing into 6G already. So we as a Finnish government have committed 250 million euros to 6G research, which is led by University of Oulu in the northern part of Finland, the best radio technology universe in the world, where actually Wipro is, for example, landing. And we have Nokia. And this is actually something that all of you can participate this 6G flagship program that we have. Just Google 6G flagship program and it's free for you all to participate that. Some other areas that again, there's a lot of interest in India, and on the other hand, where we in Finland have something unique to offer. Sustainability. Nowadays, when I'm discussing with CTOs of large Indian, system integrators, for example, the first question is what we could do around sustainability. And every single company is digital nowadays, but in the future, in the near future, every single company needs to be sustainable. So that's a huge area what is now attracting interest to Finland. Of course, our education system. Then on the technology verticals, well, everybody is working on AI, but we have certain AI verticals that are extremely cool. We'll be happy to explore those further. Bio-based materials, so the future bio-based packaging materials, future bio-based fabrics, they will come from Finland. Really cool stuff that our companies are working on. Clean energy solutions, I mentioned cloud, we are number one in cloud adoption globally. Cybersecurity, especially when you combine cybersecurity to 5G. So many cool things happening there. Data centers, Finland is one of the hubs globally with data centers. For example, Google, they have their largest data center outside US in Finland. Health technology, in Finland, we don't have a large pharma industry as such, but we have hundreds of cool medical technology, health technology, e-health companies. So health technology is one of the cool areas. Then the last but not least area, which is now extremely interesting, and that is quantum computing. Finland will be the third superpower after China and US when it comes to quantum computing, especially the quantum computing hardware. And we all know that Chinese, they don't take their know-how outside, and US, Americans, they are blocking Google and other companies with their quantum computing know-how to take it outside US. But we are ready to collaborate. And there, if we put the quantum computing know-how, hardware know-how of Finland together with Indian software know-how, cool things we could do together. In Finland, it is an ecosystem where startups, SMEs, large companies, multinational companies, government, and academia works together. We have defined all of these ecosystems, so just a snapshot of the smart finance ecosystem. And then we have also defined all the verticals. Just an example of the fintech landscape in Finland. About 160 excellent fintech companies. And if there's a certain, even small or narrow vertical that you would like to explore, that, hey, we are doing this, could you explore if there's some companies in Finland or some university groups in Finland doing that? We have defined our ecosystems. We can help you to find partners for that. So our ecosystems are well defined. Startups we are discussing about today. Most vibrant startup ecosystem in the world. Amit mentioned Slush. I think Gautam mentioned Slush as well, biggest startup event in the world. But our startups are collecting money. So per GDP per capita, Finland is attracting the most venture cap to our startups. But it's not only the money that we are attracting, it's the exits. What a striking fact. A couple of years ago, Finland, a small country of 5.5 million people, we accounted about 10% of the global startup exits. So there are exits happening. That's a quite striking fact. And yeah, we have data to back it up, showing that the money globally is flowing to startups in Finland. But I want to tell you the kind of real secret why you should really explore Finland. What is the biggest reason why you should come to Finland? Is it these household names that we already mentioned, the gaming companies, Nokia, our cyber security companies, Linux, our, measuring companies? It's not that. The fact is that everybody else is there nowadays. It's not only the Finnish companies, but everybody is there to do R&D. So Finland has become the coolest or hottest startup hub in the world. So the European companies are there, the technology companies, the pharma companies, the e-commerce companies are there doing R&D. The American companies are there, Google is there with the largest data centers. I could talk about these examples for hours. GE Healthcare, their wireless R&D is very much headed from Finland. Pharma companies here as well. Again, we have data. It's quite striking data when we compare Finland to other Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, and when we combine the FDI projects. Actually, in Finland, we have attracted more FDI projects than rest of the Nordic countries, which are very innovative, than the rest of the Nordic countries combined during the last few years. So the thing is that everybody else is there. Also the Indian companies, whether it's the system integrators, Wipros, Infosys, Mahindra has 4 investments in Finland, Motherson Sumi, and we are very happy to see Indian SMEs, Indian technology companies investing more and more to Finland already. Startup permits, startup kits, I think Anne-Marie will talk about these. in our next session after one month. But we have created the startup permit, residence permit for startup entrepreneurs outside European Economic Area. Just Google Business Finland startup permit. Very straightforward application process there, but just Google Business Finland startup permit. Startup kit, so we have put together in one place all the possible know-how, knowledge, information that you would need. Again, Google Business Finland startup kit, you will find information. So what are the reasons? Really, why Finland? It's the ecosystem, the most unique ecosystem, small country, but unique ecosystem where we truly collaborate, where companies with different size, different origins, academia, collaborate, and the government funds it heavily. Then there's access to Nordic markets. When you combine the Nordic markets, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, the economy is actually about the size of the Indian economy. So it's a large market. Then access to whole Europe, something that the Indian pharma companies, actually pretty much all of them, did 20 years ago. So they came, what another secret that you might not know, they came to Europe through Finland 20 years ago. So they got their first regulatory approvals from Finland, because when they got the regulatory approvals, the quality stamp from the Finnish medical authorities, that is so well respected in Europe that it still is so much easier for them to do business. And of course, access to innovation. And last but not least, it's not only access to Nokias and Finnish universities and to other, large Finnish companies, but nowadays you can access Google's, you can access GE Healthcare, you can access the multinational companies because they are doing R&D in Finland. Thank you so much. We have this one guy who cannot work from home, everybody else can, so we have one and the only Santa Claus. Here's my coordinates. I would be happy to always be at your service. Thank you. Handing over to Gautam.
Thank you so much, Jukka. I think that was a great walkthrough of what to expect out of Finland. I'm sure, especially for a lot of us in India who are looking at entering the European market, a route through Finland looks a lot more encouraging today. And thank you so much for also telling us on how to start or where to start on this journey. So I would love to call upon Amit and Jukka to, officially launch or declare the India-Finland Startup Hub open. Over to you, Jukka and Amit.
That totally sounds like a priest declaring a marriage ceremony or something, but Jukka, please do.
Absolutely. So I would have loved to have ribbons here, but unfortunately, Jukka, would love to have you share a word, a couple of words on the India-Finland Startup Hub and declare it open.
Yeah, thank you, Gautam. And as I kind of started with my presentation, that thank you so much for teams in both countries. So I officially declare the Finland India Startup Hub now open. Yeah, I will change another shirt after this because I'm so nervous and sweating. Great achievement. So we have the platform now. So now the next step is to start working around that platform, on that platform, building on that platform, helping companies, start facilitating the interaction, start facilitating. Hopefully we can start flying as well between the two countries soon. But I'm so happy to have this thing officially opened, and the practicalities will follow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Over to Amit.
Yeah, and so do I. The Indo-Finland Startup Hub is officially open, and I invite all Indian startups, those of you who are in touch with Headstart, just get in touch with us, and we'll do our part in finding what are the best interventions that we can make to get you achieve whatever you're looking at with our collaborations in Finland. We're really excited and working with the team at Business Finland. It's been a fantastic journey so far, and it's going to be 10x in the year that follows.
Absolutely, and I'm really happy to see so many, more than 75 plus comments
I would like to, call upon the next set of speakers, Juha, and I can already see you over there.
Hello? Yes? Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Amit.
Juha is from Slush, and welcome there, Juha. Over to you, please. Sorry about this hiccup. I would have loved to introduce you very well, but we've lost Gautam.
No worries. I hope we'll have Gautam back soon and this happens. Okay, so my name is Juha Hovintalo. I lead investor relations at Slush, and I am extremely honored and pleased to be speaking to you this afternoon and both represent Slush and my country at such a very exciting forum. So I've prepared a few slides about Slush and the way how Slush impacts the Finnish and the European ecosystem. So just a second. I am about to share my screen. Can anyone please indicate to me if you can see it?
We can see it.
Okay. And I suppose you're now supposed to see it in full screen.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. I will just check the time in order for me to not overspeak my turn. Okay, it's 5 past. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, Slush. I'm pretty sure most of you are in one way or another familiar with the brand of Slush, but I thought that it would be important to sort of rehash it a little bit, and also to introduce it to some people who might not be that familiar with it. And also, most importantly, to underline what Slush, both as an event, but also as a company, as a company that does things also outside the main event year round, what it can do for Indian startups and Indian sort of Indo-Finnish startup and tech collaboration. So yeah, this is a very brief history of Slush then and now. I'll be talking very briefly about the history of Slush, about what Slush does right now, and what the impact of Slush to the wider ecosystem, and how that might matter for you as an Indian startup founder or a startup operator. So as has already been mentioned, Nokia is extremely sort of very famously prominent in India as a brand, or at least was for a very long time. And the inception of Slush as a movement and a company was very much tied to this very pivotal moment in Nokia's history around sort of the early 2010s and late noughts, sort of following the very famous burning platform moment of Nokia, in which the mobile business of the company collapsed, and the company had to reinvent itself as a network company. Finland as a country and as a kind of a tech ecosystem was very much at a crossroads. And at this moment, a group of tech leaders and students from Aalto University in near Helsinki teamed up to really reinvent the Finnish tech ecosystem in a way that it would be based around a large and healthy field of successful companies in various industries and various verticals, as opposed to a tech ecosystem that would be constructed around this one big behemoth, dominant player that Nokia was. And they wanted to push Finland into the direction of being a country that is strong in very many different domains, and encourage innovation in sectors where perhaps Finland has not been as strong before. And the way how they pushed forward was through Slush, through founding Slush as an event that would bring the best Finnish and European and global startups together to meet with players outside the ecosystem and also investors. And key figures who were involved in Slush during the early years is, of course, Peter Westerbacka, so who was then the CEO of Rovio, the company that developed Angry Birds, one of the most prominent mobile games of sort of late noughts, early tens. And of course, Ilkka Paananen, the co-founder and CEO of Supercell. And as I already mentioned, sort of taking Slush from 0 to 1 was what it was responding to was really kind of wanting to address the sort of the reorientation of the Finnish tech ecosystem from one dominated by a single company to one that would be that would foster a group of startups with very varying skills and focus areas, and also fostering the Finnish tech ecosystem. Over the years, Slush has really turbocharged the Finnish ecosystem in the sense that it has brought together players or sort of young people and students who would go on to both found companies. So Slush has generated a lot of alumni companies, and then also brought together companies which were not necessarily led by Slush alumni, but which still played a very, very important role in scaling Slush, and also in building the brand of Slush as an event and as a company. So, for example, the most prominent alumni companies that Slush has generated is Volt, which is a food delivery tech platform, very big in many European countries and also Israel and Japan. Block, which is a real estate platform, and most recently Flowrite, a company that I'm very excited about, which is a GPT-3 based productivity tool, which helps you write things based on just a couple of words that you insert into a message field, and then it writes everything for you. And then, of course, ecosystem players who have been involved in Slush, Supercell, Smartly.io, the advertising platform, Swappy, and Vario, the VR/AR company. And the reason why I'm mentioning these companies is not really to name drop, but just to underscore the fact that in Finland has a very high concentration of such prominent companies, which fosters innovation and would facilitate your journey as an Indian startup, sort of relocating to Finland or starting a company in Finland, when you would be able to make the most of the network effects that Slush has helped with these other companies and with the players like Business Finland to create. Of course, Slush in 2021, we will be planning an event for 8,000 people for December 1st and 2nd. So I'm really hopeful to see most of you there in one way or another, if we're able to proceed with it, pandemic permitting. And the event will also be there's a fallback plan to host it online if it's not going to be possible. But so these are the plans, our plans for 2021. What can Slush do for you? Most importantly, I think, and this is also very much connected to what Finland can do for you. So, firstly, access to talent. Finland is one of the most educated and stable countries in the world, which provides a great environment for attracting and, importantly, retaining talent. And I can share a personal anecdote here, because I studied for my undergraduate degree, I studied in the United Kingdom, and there Of course, London is a huge tech center, but there, if one wants to have great talent, that talent is extremely expensive, and also it is the wages that one were to pay those workers don't really provide them with as high as kind of a as good a quality of life than it does in Finland. So you have access to talent at a vast scale, and also the wages which you will be paying to that talent. You will know that they that those individuals will be able to have a good life with that money, enjoy nature, be able to travel to the cottage and go to the sauna and have fantastic government provided services, as opposed to knowing that they will be sort of living in a small apartment, somewhere in London, so to speak, and then looking to change jobs. So it's really that high quality of life, stability that will make it easier to attract talent and really sort of develop it over the long term. And secondly, access to capital. Finland, a country in and of itself, is a comparatively small market, but we're located in the EU, which is the largest market composed of high income countries in the world. And what I've learned as someone who has led investor relations at Slush is that Finnish companies have extraordinary access, both via Slush and outside of it, to the best investors on the continent. So in a sense, you'll get the best of both worlds. You'll be able to live in a sort of in a peaceful, calm country outside of the sort of the buzz of the great centers, but at the same time, you will have access to those great centers of capital and financing. So just to kind of use a let's say an example, you could be at your cottage in Finland and take an investor call with one of the best VC funds on the continent after going to sauna. So this is really the sort of the environment that Finland offers. Yeah, I think this is it, sort of Slush and what Slush can do in a nutshell. I'm extremely honored to be here, as I said in the beginning, and I'm very excited to work together. So if me personally or Slush in any way can be of help to you or to your company, you have my name here. You can send me a LinkedIn request, or send me email, and I'll do my best to help you. And I'm personally best qualified to help in sort of investor related matters. And if your matter is related to another domain, there will definitely be someone at Slush to help you. Okay, I think this was it for me. I will be part of the panel, answering sort of discussing this and answering questions. Yeah, really excited to be here and to work together.
Absolutely, Juha. So thank you so much, for running us through the Slush journey. So I think it is always a pleasure, hearing the Slush story, like the kind of impact that you've had. And I think a lot of us here back in India are also aware of Slush, and I think we are so excited to hear from you, more about. I mean, it's always hearing from the horse's mouth. There's always a lot more information hearing from the person behind Slush. So thank you so much again. I think without further ado, I would love to go ahead and invite the other panelists for the panel today. But the most important member of the panel is always the moderator. So let me take this opportunity to invite Silva Pananen. Silva, if you can turn your video on and say hi to all of us here today. Silva has been playing a major role in in the India-Finland bridge, right? In bridging India and Finland, enterprises and people through her Kasvu consulting. So Silva, thank you so much for joining us today. And in the meanwhile, let me also take the opportunity to invite the other two panelists, Indian entrepreneurs who've benefited or experienced the entire Finland culture and the Finland environment. Praveen, thank you so much for joining us today. Praveen from Ad Composites, can you turn your video on and say hi to us? Arzu, if you can also make all our three panelists co-hosts, it'll help them unmute and turn the videos on as well. So Silva Pananen, our moderator for the day, Praveen from Ad Composites, thank you so much for joining us. And the final panelist for the day, Kunal Pandya from Encrypted Technologies. Thank you so much, Kunal. So Praveen and Kunal have been beneficiaries or have experienced the entire India-Finland ecosystems on both sides. And that's where I'm really excited to have Praveen as well as Kunal on board today, where they run us through their experience on both sides. Very good morning to you, Silva. I know it's still morning in Finland.
Kind of. It's past noon now.
And it's blazing hot here in Bangalore. It's about 2:50 p.m. and it's definitely hot. Unlike what Anna-Marie was saying, that it's snowing in Finland now, it's very hot here. Thank you so much. Over to you, Silva. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you first of all, Santeri and Jukka, for having me here. I mean, I have more than 10 years of India behind me. I was heading the FinPro, which is now Business Finland in Chennai for 3.5 years. Then later have lived in Delhi, running my own business. And of course, now because of this pandemic, I'm in Helsinki. And I love as a Finn hearing both Jukka and Juha telling all these wonderful things about Finland. But while I was watching out, it's actually snowing and it's almost mid kind of April. So that is something that one has to bear in mind, dress up in layers. Anyway, so the purpose of this panel discussion is to share experiences about setting up business in Finland and how operating from Finland really enables access to various funding sources. Some of that has already been covered here. But in particular, I would be very, very happy to hear also some observations and learnings from both Praveen and Kunal about the kind of the cultural differences in leadership and management style, how to get access and be part of the Finnish community and the ecosystem. And in particular, then also how this communication issues may have had impacted. And this is a good learning experience because we do know that we communicate in a bit different way here. And thank you so much, Gautam, for introducing our panelists, because even with my 10 years in India, and I learned to pronounce all beautiful long South Indian names like Balakrishna Murthy Subramaniam, wow. But I can't manage Praveen's family name because that other thing I just can't make it.
Silva, can I request you to also turn your video on so that all of us back here in India would love to see who's been behind Kasvu.
Oh, but I have it on, but what is happening then?
Can you turn it off and turn it on again?
Okay, this is funny.
At times, most of the toughest problems when it comes to technology is always restart or refresh.
Oh yeah. This is the thing. No, I tried again. Am I visible now?
We may be in the. Yes, you are. You're visible now. I think.
Okay.
We may
now.
be in the era of 5G, but most of the times, especially Windows, it's always restart or refresh.
Okay, lovely to be. But okay, I should have a good. Okay, this is about Finland being so high tech. But anyway, let's get started. We don't have too much of time. But first of all, I would like to give floor both to Praveen and to Kunal to quickly give us a 2 max 3 minute kind of little elevator pitch about your companies. Then later we discuss why Finland. But just tell us what is it that you do, guys. If you, Praveen, would like to start.
Yeah, thank you, Silva. So I'm a mechanical engineer, like by education. I'm like heading CEO of at Composites here. And so I have a working background back in India about 6 years. I was a scientist in Indian Space Research Organization there, mostly working in satellite and launch vehicle structures. And that's where the idea for At Composites came from. Because we use this very advanced materials, but we were still manufacturing by hands. So the idea was to get like how to automate this manufacturing, and it's very expensive. It's like a couple of millions euros for each machines. So I moved to Finland and was doing my master's in Aalto University here. And that's where we developed the technology with the help of the R&D funding that we received from Business Finland here. And then we spun out of Aalto and became the company. So what At Composite does is try to basically make the manufacturing automation 100 times cheaper, while still being able to produce parts that are suitable for space and aerospace companies. So you would be able to, like all the small manufacturers in India or in Europe, would be able to automate their manufacturing, being able to produce for space, aerospace, and very high-end automotive customers by automatically producing all this. So that's what At Composite does. What we
Lovely.
have...
I'm sorry, I have to be. I know we have this challenge with time schedule. So then, thank you so much, Praveen. Then Kunal, why don't you quickly tell us what is it that your company does?
Yeah, thank you, Silva. Very excited to be part of this wonderful forum. I'll quickly jump into introducing myself and what we do as a company, just to save time. So I'm Kunal Pandya, CEO of Encrypted Technologies, and we are a software company, and we have offices in India, and in Europe we have in Helsinki and London, and we have also a delivery office in Denver, US. And we also have some branch network available in Germany and the UAE. So we consider ourselves startup enablers. Since last 10 years, we have been working with small to medium scale businesses and mainly with early stage startups and founders. What we do is we provide tech support to companies at early stage, and our services are most of the times at discount. So we take some equity in the company in exchange to get compensated for the discount. And that's a model we've been following, and it seems to be working very well, as startups at early stage mostly don't have enough seed funding available. And many of the times it doesn't make sense to hire the entire tech team in-house. So we partner at that time, wherein we are able to save cost and provide tech solutions at high quality, leveraging our experience and domain expertise. So over the period of time, through our engagement with many idea stage companies, several of which are very successful in their own way now, some of them are multi-million-dollar businesses. We are also able to provide, by leveraging this experience, we provide advisory on product engineering, product market fit, technically everything that you would require at early stage. Now, that doesn't mean that we are into advisory or consulting. That's not what we do. So most of the services we provide is complementary, or some of the times we also are able to get the startups connected with our other ecosystem partners and channel partners that we have in our network. Several of them are in Finland as well. And as our core anyways, the technology side. So yeah, that's in a nutshell about us, and very happy to be part of this panel. Feel free to contact with me later on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kunal. So now if Juha can also kind of unmute himself, because now I would like us really go to the discussion per se. And of course, now, like Juha already very extensively kind of, explained the funding system. But my question to you, all the panelists, is now that setting up business in Finland, how does it really help you in getting funding, both from Finnish and then kind of European sources? So now, before maybe Pravin or Kunal, you would like to really know this, why Finland in particular in terms of getting access to funding? Would you like to share your experiences with us?
Yeah, so I can go first. So it's basically was very like the R&D funding, even at the very early stage, when you are at a very idea stage. And even though you have created like just a very small prototype, you have the possibility to start like requesting initial funding for doing R&D. And the ecosystem that is here, that really makes you feel really safe in that regard, that you can request. And then you have at every stage, then the funding is available. So once you cross first stage, then you have the second stage and the next stage to that. So business development and then the market development funding. And now we are at the stage where we are at the application development grants that we can receive and focus on specific industries to grow. So it has been very, very helpful. Yeah.
So you found the process of getting funding from Finland a smooth process?
Yes, quite intuitive.
And Kunal, your experiences?
Yeah, so again, I agree with Pravin on this. Now, one of the reasons why we decided to set up in Finland 3 years back, obviously we are not a startup ourselves, but our business deals with startups. So we were looking at an ecosystem or a region where you have more of a matured, community, and the government, funding and grant is also available, which makes our job a bit easier because most of the ideas at early stage don't get the enough seed funding, as most of the VC funds and even angel investors would like to fund or back ideas which are having some kind of traction in the market, which is once you have developed the product, once you have got some traction, once they see some customers are actually using and paying for your services, at that time, investors would have more interest. I'm sure Juha would have his own idea to share on this. But what I have found in Finland is that the government, of course, especially Business Finland, has certain R&D funds available, certain grants available, which helps you at a very early stage. What I mean by early stage is literally at idea stage. So you just have to have a great idea, set up your company in Finland. Of course, that's very necessary. And you need to have very long plans. This is not, very easy to come. Of course, the way this gets evaluated is just like a typical VC would do. But having some sources such as Business Finland, now apart from Business Finland, there are other sources such as, you can go to FIBAN, for example. IBAN is also there, and the European fund is also available. So, but Business Finland being one of the most important player in this. And this really helps the startups and founders to be kind of feel secure that at least you will get some funds available to at least test your idea, get the product developed, get the, some of the initial traction, and then see if it, you get validation in the market, and then you can maybe go for further funding round and get it developed further. So for us, of course, this was one of the very instrumental, point why we decided to come to Finland in the first place and, consider it as our, hub.
Juha, thank you so much, Kunal. Juha, would you like to comment something on this, what you just heard? I think you still need to unmute yourself, or Santeri needs some. Okay.
Yes, I was able to unmute myself. I was just having myself mute just in case to avoid the circulation. Of course, Pravin and Kunal were primarily also referring to getting funds from Business Finland, so from governmental funds. I am personally most qualified to speak of private funding, so VC funding. And what Finland really offers, and Slush specifically offers, are these sort of year-round events that occur outside of the main event that usually is sort of towards the end of November, beginning of December. So what we are developing right now is a platform called Node by Slush, or it did exist last year as well, but we're now developing a platform in-house. And on that, we are running events about once a month that bring startups and private investors, or sort of VC investors, across stages together. So we have regardless of what stage you are, of course, with a focus to the early stage. So both from angel to seed to Series A to Series B, there will be an event for you. And one of the experiences that I've had working with VCs is that most people who are venture capitalists, they are extremely knowledgeable of the sector that they invest in, but they also pay a lot of attention to the way how you present your idea and the way how you present your product. So actually, when we do matching for our events, what would really help you a lot is to have a fantastic website that very concisely communicates what you're doing in a way that a VC can read it in 2 seconds and understand what you're doing. And that it seems banal, but that will facilitate your meeting quite a bit, or make it much more likely that they will take it forward. So VCs, they have attention spans which last for less than a second. And if you can grab that attention in any way possible, do that. So 2 things are matchmaking events and then communication.
No, that's wonderful. Really, it's really wonderful here to Juha that you have even developed, these ongoing, events, because I believe that for foreign entrepreneurs coming to Finland, you need somebody not only kind of hand holding, but really bridging the gap, understanding where the public funding works, and then when they are mature enough and they have what it takes to start really discussing about private funding. So I think this was really superb. Super good to know. Would you like to comment anything, Praveen or Kunal, what Juha said?
Yeah, Praveen, I think you are mute.
You are muted. This is the Teams bullshit bingo. You are muted.
Yes, I think I completely agree with you. I think it's very, very true. The only thing that I've been with the very specific, you have to find the right investor for you. So it's a lot of try, and that's why the network really helps, because you have to find the investor who understands what's the thesis of your investment need is, and their know-how should really match. So the network and you communicate with so many investors. So it took, I would say, I have definitely met about 50 different angels before finding the angel that invested in our company. Even though we went with slightly lower valuation, we are like, no, this is the angel who understands the business. But yeah, I think it's very true, communication with multiple of them. And I think Finland definitely have multiple of events. I think I got through like a bank, Danske have one of the events that proves, yeah.
No, that is fantastic, because at the end of the day, even, people, individuals run businesses, also angels, investors, they are individuals, human beings. So you need to create not only the business proposal, but the kind of the chemistry and the trust. Yes. It's still, part of the game. Any comments, Kunal, from your side?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I agree with you. Investors are not from out of this earth, obviously. They feel the same emotions that we do as entrepreneurs. And I have the privilege of being both an entrepreneur myself, and then lately we also invested in several of our customer companies. So I have a lot of experience of being an investor also. And part of this journey, I would really advise founders and startups who are looking at setting up Finland, from especially India. I am not sure how soon we will have another real Slush happening, not the virtual one, but I think that would be the gateway to Finland, and that will really open the doors to understand what kind of ecosystems there. You get the privilege of meeting all the important players under one roof, and of course, not just the rock star side of the event, but the real business transactions that happen there. And like a couple of the companies that we are invested in Finland right now, and we're also working with them as partners. We are glad that we found them through Slush, and And the setup is absolutely business ready. And yeah, I would really advise that should be your go-to event, and from there many doors will open. You will get access to many other event planners, such as Slush is one of the most important, but then you have architect startup, and then there are many other events that are happening across the year. Many of them are taking it virtual also right now due to this ongoing pandemic, but hopefully we'll start having one-to-one interaction, physical events sometime, maybe hopefully this year.
I think we all miss them.
Yeah, absolutely. So
okay,
yeah, that's my 2 cents on this.
Wonderful. No, I mean the Slush. Slush, of course, it is unique. The kind of the vibration of the event, and then, but again, I've taken a couple of Indian companies to the Slush in the past years, and I would like to really emphasize that it's very, very important to be well prepared, to set goals. What is it that you want to do? It's just otherwise hovering around doesn't take you. So this is what I'm seeing sometimes, with all respect to the Indian perception of time, IST, the Indian Standard Time, which sometimes stands for Indian Stretchable Time. I've seen people really signing up at the last moment, and then they're, I don't get to talk to anybody. Everybody's, all the slots are booked. So it really needs kind of good preparation and target setting, and you can really actually make amazing things happen.
Yeah.
Another topic that I wanted to discuss with all the three of you, but seeing that we in the audience, we have lots of aspiring Indian entrepreneurs who are interested in Finland. So tell me, how has it been from the kind of your personal experience, but also the kind of the cultural aspects, communication styles, management styles, leadership styles? How has it been, getting settled into Finland, getting used to our ways? What are your observations and discoveries? And Juha, of course, has been a lot around. I would like to hear your views also. So please just shoot, don't be shy.
I think it's, I would say the very first thing that came to like really as a lightning bolt was the honesty. So people in Finland just say what it is. If whatever you're saying, they don't agree with it, they'll say it to you. And I think that was the very first thing. And then because of that, what happens is the things moves way faster. You're not beating around the bush and you're just talking about the main thing. The second thing that I felt was the openness of communication, in a way that I was talking about my startup idea way before, and I felt very secure that there won't be any of the, and everybody wanted to help and because they were like, okay, it's your idea, okay, how can we help you get there? And everybody supported in the best way possible. So that two things that really stood out to me was the communication was so honest and true to the heart, was and the support that you get if you are genuinely really trying to do good. It's insane. Yeah.
That's lovely to hear. I mean, I remember one Indian CEO living in Finland. He says that Finns are so direct, to the point of being like brutally direct.
Yes.
That I always normally say in India, when I've been coaching companies in this cross-cultural leadership and teamwork, that bear with us, our mother tongue even doesn't carry the word please. So I mean, we don't intend to be rude, but we may appear rude sometimes. And then India, all these niceties. When I lived in India, I had to start typing, "Dear sir, I hope my mail, finds you and your family well." I mean, if you do it in Finland, they think, what, is she off her medication? How is she concerned about the well-being of my family? So Kunal, your experiences, observations.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Silva, what we just said. I was even amazed myself when we came to Finland for the first time. And we found that people are simply emotionless here. They don't seem to carry much emotion. Maybe it's the cold that has to do something. They all look very frozen in a way, but you can understand for somebody who is coming from India, from 40 degree to almost 0 degree, and then to see this kind of emotionless atmosphere. It was
Everybody
was
wearing
new.
black clothes.
Yeah, the black, yeah. But then again, I mean, it didn't take long for us to realize it's the part of the culture. There's just the way of expression is different. Otherwise, you know, people feel the same emotions that we do, of course. But we, India, we are over-expressive. Sometimes we are over-sensitive about some topics, and that's the main cultural difference I have seen myself, wherein the Finns are more straightforward, and you know, they will tell you on the face what they feel about it, which is unlike for us in India, wherein we have a more kind of a diplomatic way of quoting everything. And
Certainly,
you know, the complete absence of the jugaad technique that we have. I'm not sure whether you guys are aware of that terminology, but that's very common in India. You know, every business person would know how to do jugaad with.
yes.
I'm
That's
sure
kind
Praveen
of
would
the
agree.
Indian everyday innovation, always finding opportunity in adversity, always finding a way and managing. And
Always.
I mean,
So
I love the jugaad.
Yeah. So we see that, you know, to every problem there has to be many solutions. So, you know, everybody has their own opinion in India. You know, when in India, if you have a debate wherein you have three people, all of them will have all different directions, and you will never come to any conclusion, even if you're having a discussion. So, you know, in our companies, you know, we stopped having discussions because we never came to any conclusion. But because everybody has their own opinions, we have a lot of feedback to share, which is unlike what we found in Finland, wherein, you know, you have a straightforward direction. You know, from A we have to go to B, and everybody follows the same direction. And yeah, both of the cultures are, you know, right in their own sense. You know, there is no right or wrong here. It's just the difference that we have to understand when an Indian is talking about setting up in, you know, up north somewhere like Finland. So yeah, that's what I have felt from my end. But otherwise, you know, it's very easy because people are very friendly. Personally, I've seen many of my good friends are, of course, from Finland. Juha, we go a long time, of course, and then we have good friends from Helsinki Business Hub, and from Slush, of course, we have several good guys with who we regularly are in touch, and we have found that, you know, some of these relationships are very long lasting. It's not mean in a way; it's more friendlier, and you know,
it
yeah,
may
it's
take
at the end of
time
the day.
to establish
They
maybe
take
a
time.
friendship, but then you can count on us typically. Juha, I would like to hear from you. I mean, in particular, now that you have been guiding so many international entrepreneurs, talking also to venture capitalists. So how does these kind of cross-cultural communications and management styles, do they play a role in those discussions?
Well, of course, I have my own perspective, and as you can see, I'm not an Indian startup founder. So of course, you know, this is a different perspective. But what I can say, what I didn't mention in my initial slot is that I'm originally from Oulu, so the city in northern Finland that was mentioned in the 6G project. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is that in Oulu and also in Finland more widely, people are extremely aware of the very high quality of both hardware innovation and software innovation that India has to offer, both in terms of the communications that they've had with Indian companies, and also the very high level of work that Indian expats who have moved here have produced. One thing to keep in mind when you are setting up in Finland and growing beyond that initial kind of public funding and then angel/seed funding that you would be most likely to receive from Finnish investors is that the Finnish venture capital market, and I'm talking about the Finnish venture capital market, is relatively small. And after you will sort of outgrow the size of that venture capital market, you will need to raise funding from larger European private investors. So you're going to be traveling to Stockholm, you're going to be traveling to London, and if you know, if your company just explodes, you might be traveling to North America or big Asian tech centers. And one thing to keep in mind at this stage is that, and I think this might be a problem that both Indians and Finns might suffer from, is that they're very knowledgeable and they produce great work, but it might be then a bit difficult to condense all of that work into a 2-second soundbite or a website image that then you will have to present to a London-based investor or a North American investor. So when you're growing your company in Finland during that initial stage, of course, you'll be focusing on R&D and making a fantastic product that will generate traction. But after that, it might then make sense to hire a designer, to hire a very experienced marketing person to help you take your company to London, to North America, to Tokyo, to Shanghai. And so when it comes to cross-cultural communication, I think Finns and Indians get along very well, and Finns are very aware of the great contributions that Indians have made here. But then actually sort of using Finland as a launch pad in that phase, sort of being able to condense everything into 1 second for an investor who really doesn't have a lot of time. That is the next step, a thing to keep in mind.
Thank you. That was I loved what you said, Juha. Now I think we start running. We will be having a short Q&A session, but just to wrap up this, thank you for the three of you so much for being so active. But I just would like everybody to kind of close up and say, still, like from Praveen and Kunal in particular, that some word of encouragement to the audience.
I think I can say just this one thing, like, well, I think once you come to Finland for the very first time, it's definitely going to be slightly harder. But then it grows on you so much that you cannot leave Finland in a way that, you know,
wow.
It's a very terrific ecosystem. So you can really count on the people if they say something, I think I had one point to Kunal when he was saying that, you know, they cannot come to an agreement. My Finnish, so I have a Finnish co-founder with me, and he always says, whenever he doesn't know, he says like, I don't know, man, I will find out. But yeah, so it's a very terrific place to work and very high quality that you generate. And I think the biggest advantage that I found, instead of having the startup founded in India to in Finland, is that we had our first customer directly in Europe, and now we have customer Europe, USA, Japan, Korea, everywhere. And that access that you get to be a Finnish brand that you carry is yeah.
That was beautifully said, Praveen. Kunal, how would you like to encourage our audience now about coming and exploring the opportunity here?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what Praveen has mentioned. Having a Finnish brand name, especially if you're at early stage, idea stage, you have to decide whether I want to develop the company in India or I want to explore some other market, especially if your target audience is European or you're talking about some digital concept wherein you are not bound by any geography. Finland, I think, makes most sense because the market is very matured, and you know, the ecosystem is also very friendly and supportive. A lot of players are available, which makes more sense. And most of this is concentrated around the Helsinki capital region. So you don't have to travel a lot, unlike in India, you know, because in India you have one player who is in Delhi, another one is in Bangalore. It's a huge distance. At the end of the day, you still need those one-to-one personal meetings. You know, video calls will do only one part of this job when you are raising funds. You know, nobody, in my experience, will give you 1 million just with a with a video call. Unless, of course, we hear those stories now happening after 2020 Corona situation.
But well, it has changed our ways a lot.
Changed the way, yeah. But I think it will come back to a little bit being normalized when you are able to meet. I think people will still would like to meet. And Helsinki in particular in Finland, it's a concentrated area, and hence everybody is just around. You just walk by, and from one player, one partner to another investor. It's and personally for me, the beauty is that Helsinki is a very beautiful city, so you will still love walking.
In particular when it doesn't snow.
Especially, personally, I like when it snows.
Yeah, I don't mind either, but I mean, we are in mid-April now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kunal. Juha, would you like to still have a final word of encouragement for our audience, and then we'll hand over to Gautam for the questions and answers.
Thank you, Silva. I'll try to be very short. So I just wanted to underline that I think the various ecosystem players and partners that have engaged in this webinar really do their best work to both encourage you to set up in Finland and then also make the effort as easy as possible. So as was mentioned by Jukka, take advantage of the startup visa system. Once you've gone through that process, be in touch with Business Finland, and once you've grown beyond your initial public funding, join a Slush online event, or come to Slush at the end of this year or at the end of next year to raise private funding. So there's really a kind of a clear path for you to follow and support during each stage of this path. So yeah, that was for me.
Thank you so much, Juha. Yeah, indeed. I mean, here the size of Finland kind of plays in our favor, because we can have this structure. People are rather accessible. You don't need to travel to a million places. I mean, this is one of the beauties. Thank you, everybody, so much. I'm really privileged that I could spend this time with you. And I would hand it over to Gautam for the questions and answers. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Silva. So I thoroughly enjoyed the last half an hour, 45 minutes of your panel discussion. In fact, I would love to point out a few gems that came out, right? So starting from you, Silva, you spoke about the culture differences that exist. In fact, I did start this that way at 2 p.m. that there are culture differences, and the way you beautifully pointed out some of the key differences in India and Finland, including the way you write your mail. I think beautiful. I think that's the beauty of these sessions, because we really want to get personal and give an experience for a lot of startups, both in India as well as Finland, on what does it really mean from a cross-border collaboration from real experience, right? And nothing, no text, no blog can really beat the real experience that comes from people. People like you, Silva, who've helped hundreds of companies. And I'm really glad to know, I was just talking to Jukka earlier, and I'm really glad to know that there are 100+ Finland companies in India as well.
Yes.
I think that's massive in terms of also an opportunity for Indian startups to work with the Indian offices of Finland companies.
Yes.
And vice versa, like what Jukka did mention, that Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Infosys all have very, very big stakes in Finland. So I think no better time than this, or like what it says here, time to start up is now. I think time to start the India-Finland Startup Hub is now, right? So it's perfect for that. And so Juha, you know what, you've got a lot of questions your way, but in the interest of time, I'm gonna just merge all those questions, ask on behalf of all. The first question to you is, when is the next Slush gonna happen?
So when and where?
So
yes.
In India, we very popularly say the nation wants to know, when is the next Slush?
The nation wants to know. So December 1st and 2nd this year, pandemic permitting, 8,000 attendees. It's going to be less than the 25,000 we had in 2019, but we will achieve that reduction by sort of having less journalists and less sort of more peripheral players that were in attendance 2 years ago. So the number of investors and the number of startup tickets will be roughly the same. And of course, that the event will also happen online if the pandemic will not permit us to move forward. And of course, you can also expect Slush to happen in 2022. So I think the pandemic has forced us to stretch out our planning horizons. So that's why it also makes sense to mention the 2022 event. But for now, you can mark December 1st and 2nd into your calendars preliminarily.
No, absolutely. And I'm honestly very, very glad about today's session, because I was just scrolling up, and there are 250 plus questions and messages. Definitely something that, in the interest of time, we can't take up all that now. But what we've also done is we've gone ahead and created a LinkedIn group, a group on LinkedIn where all of us, all the speakers, all of us from Headstart, all of us from Business Finland, we're all going to be active on that group, helping you, address a lot of these questions, because a lot of these questions also happen to be personal or something that is better, handled one-on-one, because it pertains to your company, not best handled in front of such a large audience. So I think because a lot of our panelists can actually help you one-on-one with some of your questions, because there are a lot of questions from the Indian side on the GTM. Many Indian startups want to get connected with potential partners and consultants in Finland who can help them expand. And that's exactly why we're here, right? The India-Finland Startup Hub is here so that in the next quarter or two, we're all going to have a lot more of these webinars, a lot more workshops. In fact, we're also thinking of having pitch sessions from Indian startups to the Finland ecosystem, Finland startups to the Indian ecosystem. And I think that's where Juha and I would love to, quickly work on that as well, because I see so many requests on pitch sessions, networking, a lot of education, gaming, entertainment, and AI startups on both sides that are seeking access. So I think plenty up there. And I also have a request, Silva and Juha, from a lot of accelerators in India, also wanting to collaborate with universities and accelerators in Finland to learn on best practices on the innovation side and also take startups from both sides. So I think broadly, it's been great. I would love to really thank all of you. Great amount of learnings. Thank you so much, Kunal and Praveen as well, for the journey that you've had and for really evangelizing, your experience as well. So I'll still remember, one line, the gray skies of Finland and the black t-shirts, and the warmth that comes in, though they may seem brutal and direct. Vinayak on the chat says his experience at Slush in 2019 has been really warm. So I think it's a start to a great relationship, the India-Finland Startup Hub, and all of us, all of the speakers today, all of us at Headstart, all of us at Business Finland, we are really excited, to enable more and more connections, soon. So thank you so much, all of you. I would love to have Amit on board. Amit, a final few words from you. And, I think it's been a great day.
Thank you so much, Gautam. And thanks a bunch to the entire Business Finland team and Silva for moderating a great panel, for Praveen and Kunal. Thank you for taking time out and sharing your candid perspectives of your experience as an Indian who's set up in Finland. It was very valuable, I'm sure, for all of our participants over here. Thank you, Juha. You shared a lot of perspectives, and guys, I couldn't agree more. It's a lot about communication there, and please realize 99% of startups won't be venture capital fundable. So, but we would definitely be there around to guide once you join the Facebook group or the LinkedIn group. I would recommend the LinkedIn one better though. Once you join there, we will create a systematic process wherein we can support you with different kinds of queries that you all have. Praveen and Kunal, I would really request you to, once in a while, take time out to guide fellow Indian startup founders in the LinkedIn community as well. Those of you who know Headstart know that we are a completely volunteer-driven organization, doing everything that we do in the spirit of paying it forward. And all the startups out there, just know that we are here to make you win. Things might take some time occasionally if a thread gets dropped here and there, but we will see you all through to whatever's in your startup's best interest. I would totally love to thank Yuka, Santeri, Anna-Mari, and Puneet from the Business Finland team. Guys, it's been fantastic. Every single conversation we've had together over the last 1.5 years has been brilliant. And this is a fantastic starting point of a much deeper relationship. And last but not least, I would love to thank our gang at Headstart. That's the second last, sorry, pardon me. Our gang at Headstart, Muskan, Arzu, Gautam, Anurag, thank you very, very much. Anurag, you'll have a big role to play, doing this counterpart of this particular event for, Finnish startups, with your base at Helsinki as well. And last but not the least, thank you guys. Your participation, your engagement has been brilliant. We are committed to making you win. Let us know how can we be of assistance, and join the LinkedIn group. We'll create more systematic processes over there, and we will be with you, in the long run. Let's make things happen. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.